comfortable, could you share what year you were born and where you were born?
So I'm born in 1975, and I was born in Taipei.
Taipei, wow. That's the capital, right?
Yeah, and it's also the biggest city in Taiwan.
Wow.
You know, problem with outdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what was it like living in a big city?
You know, just because I was a kid, so like you don't really have you don't really experience the city life. It's just a very common, you know, grow up, go to school, come home,
Yeah.
right? And not a whole lot of thing going on when you're a kid. By like high school, college, you know, then you start to experience a little bit more like exploring. But you know, my mom's kind of strict, so like there's always a curfew. I have to go home. Usually by 8 o'clock I'm not home. She's at work. Even by the time I go to college, she's still doing that. But you know, I would just start to try to break the rule a little more.
Right.
As I grow older, I had to always tested the water and then keep breaking. And living at home when you're in college, you just don't feel like you're growing up at all. Like, and it's still true when I go back to Taiwan. I still feel like I was treated like a kid.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So
was it more like protection, or was it like?
I think it's just the nature of being a parent, but I don't know. I think my mom's just very protective. So even now she still see me as, oh, you don't live here, you don't know, you know.
Oh.
But like I've been over the world.
Yeah.
Right, and she's not checking me going home right now at 10. But when I go to Taiwan, 8 o'clock, where are you? So
That's funny.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, my mom can be strict too. So what was your like a typical day? Maybe let's say you were 10 or 12.
10
around
to
the
12. That was when I was in elementary, right? So, so like a typical day.
Yeah, like what would you do? Like when you wake up, would you go to
So
school?
Taiwan, when I was growing up, and I think still kind of like that, is the school time is way longer than here.
Oh.
We actually go to school at 7:30. Like school started at 7:30, and I got there usually at 7, and then we finish by 4 or 4:30.
Wow, that's late.
Yeah, so it's late. It's and then if you have to do any kind of after school, and in Taiwan the after school program is more for like you learn a tons of skill, less about sports. So that's a very different thing. There's almost no sports.
Wow.
When I was growing up, especially in the city, sport is not important. But it's important to learn piano. It's important to learn all kind of those skills. So I wake up really early to go to school, and our school is every class is about 15 minutes, and you have a 10 minutes recess. So starting 7:30, you have like 4 classes in the morning, 4 classes in the afternoon.
Wow. And every
recess,
subject.
Yeah, and then school also have lunchtime, and then they're building nap time. You have to take a nap.
Oh, that's nice. I
Well,
didn't know that.
it's nice and it's not nice because you're forced to take a nap.
Oh.
So
you don't want to. You still
yeah,
have
but
to.
it's not like you can lie down because there's nowhere to lie down. So it's like everybody have their own desk. So you have to like lie on your desk, and then
How long was that?
It's like something like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. I don't really
Okay.
remember.
Huh.
But it's very annoying for people that don't want to take naps because, you know, depend on the teacher. Some teachers are strict, some teacher are not. And the strict teacher would like make one kid in charge of record who's not taking nap. And then some kids would just go extreme, like if you move, then they record you. And it's just really weird. And then some teachers are more relaxed, especially by your 5th and 6th grade. They were just like, just a calm time.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
which is,
you could read.
yeah,
you could-
it's a little nicer.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, but now looking back, I'm like, I wish I had nap time during days, right? But
Yeah, I miss it
when you're a
today.
kid, you just don't want to sit still. You want to go out and play.
That's true.
Yeah. But you know, it is a long day in school. So, and then also in Taiwan, they still do that now. Is the second recess in the morning is clean up time.
Oh, okay.
So it's a longer recess. It's 15 minutes. And everybody have a job that you have to clean classroom.
Oh, okay.
And then if you're 5th or 6th grade, you have to be in charge of cleaning the bathroom. So
Wow.
yeah, and you rotate. So it's like a rotate every week. It's a different class have to be in charge of the bathroom. So everybody hates that. Okay, but then the regular cleaning, somebody will be sweeping, somebody will be like mopping, somebody will be in charge of the window, somebody will be in charge of the blackboard. So
Wow,
it's kind of
so
like
you-
an effort, which I actually think it's a great idea for kids to learn to be kind
Yeah.
of take care of their classroom. Here in US, we don't do that at all. And you know, and this last year, I brought my kids back and I was able to put them in like a little school for like 2 weeks, and they had to experience that. And they're like, we have to clean the bathroom. they hated that, but I think it's a great experience.
Yeah.
They actually think that we should, do that.
Some
you know.
responsibility.
Yeah, and it's not just that. They have to do lunch, and
Oh.
after lunch they have those plates that every kid had to go wash their plates, the school
Yeah,
lunch, and
that's
then they
nice.
have to wash their plates. They have to dry it, put it away. So
No trash. you wash it and then you reuse
yeah,
it.
and here I don't see us do that here at all. But I feel like that's almost part of education. They learn to be responsible, be so. I don't know.
I think it's also good to minimize drama during that time as well.
Maybe, but I grew up like that, and I actually and when I was a kid, I was like, I have to do this, but it's become a natural routine. You just build into your routine and you do it,
Yeah.
and so I actually really miss that. I keep hoping that our school here have that too, but I don't see
You
our
could
system
introduce that
change.
now.
Well, I don't see our system. Our school time is so much shorter.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to just adding a lot of other things. It's just a different system. It's also different. We have a lunch area instead of in Taiwan. You actually bring lunch. You just have lunch in your
from home,
classroom.
yeah, okay.
And it's a lot for the teacher though, because the teacher had to be pretty much with the student the whole day.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I think that's too much for the teacher. So there's it's different. Yeah. But
Did you make a lot of friends when you were studying in Taiwan?
yeah, I mean Taiwan now has the lowest birth rate, so their classroom size becomes smaller.
Okay.
But in the city you're still looking at 20, 30. But when I was growing up, our classroom had 40 to 50 kids.
Wow, okay.
And then one teacher. We don't have aides,
lot.
we don't have helper, we don't get parent volunteer, none of that. And
Wow.
it's definitely not ideal because it's very easy for teacher to make it very strict on this is what we're doing. There's not really interaction because it's really hard when you have 40, 50 kids in a classroom with one teacher.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a one way. The teacher teaching, you just listen. And I didn't think that's the best model, right? So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's very different.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the other part it's really funny, is the lunch. I remember we have everybody bring their lunch, but they do start to have school lunch when I was like 3rd, 4th grade. I think they always have it, but become more common. But before, like everybody bring their own lunchbox.
Mhm.
It's like the Taiwanese style food, so it's always supposed to be eat warm.
Oh,
But there's
okay.
not really microwave option at the time. So
Uh-huh.
what they have is every classroom has this steamer. So everyone bring their lunch
Oh.
box in those metal box, and then you put in everybody 40, 50 like lunch, put it in that steamer, and they would just steam it before lunchtime, and the smell is terrible because 40, 50 different kind of food in the same steamer gets steamed, and you just every time you open it's like, oh my god. So I hated that.
Oh no.
I remember I hated it, but my mom was really nice. She knew that I'm kind of picky and I don't like mixing my food, so she had this little lunch box with compartment that she would
Ah.
separate the food for me so that I don't have like everything mixed up,
That's
combined
nice.
with all the smell. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of not my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would probably be sensitive to that. too.
Yeah, and it's not like sandwich is a common thing for people to bring, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a brother.
One brother.
He's an older brother. So.
Cool. what was your relationship like with him growing up?
Growing up, we fight a lot, but we're really good friends right now.
That's
so, which is, you know, and yeah, it's funny because growing up, I don't feel like I like kind of want to hang out with him too much. I have my own friend. He's a little older, and he's a boy. They do their own stuff. But it's more until after I come to the United States, you know, I feel like, well, I haven't seen my brother for a while, and it's like, we just become better friends when we were growing up, you know, and it's not like we're not good friends when we were kids. It's just like we barely really spent effort trying to hang out with each other, and now we make a lot more effort.
Okay,
But, yeah, and my brother's a really, really great person. So
That's
yeah.
What was your relationship like with your parents? Like, if you're comfortable, what did your parents do for a living?
So my mom's a nurse.
Okay.
And my dad worked for like government. He worked in the airport for custom, you know. And in Taiwan, it's this, okay. So my mom as a nurse, she's still a government job.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of those things are like government run.
Okay.
And if you have a government job, you have pension. It's like a secure job.
Okay.
So for my parents' generation, you know, having like a secure job options it's very important because when they were young, Taiwan's economy wasn't great. So, but it's also the time that Taiwan's economy started to boom.
Okay.
So if you know, taking the government job is like a stable job. But if you're the people that at that time want to start to do business, there's a lot of business success story during that 20, 30 years time because the economy was booming. So there's tons of opportunity. My parents didn't take that route. They take the route really safe, secure. So it's, you know, so I'm not growing up in like a rich family. I have like basically it's a very stable. My parents have like a very stable job. So our life is good. No complaints there. We're good. Not, you know, looking at some of my friends, they're always like, oh, they get to go to Europe, they get to, you know, that's not us. Oh, okay. Right, that's not us. That we're just very normal family with very stable, normal income. So
that's good.
Yeah, but it definitely, when I was growing up, we have some family friends that because their family was, you know, do business, and at the time, you know, a lot of really successful business people. It's like, wow, why my friends always get to do that?
Actually, maybe in Taipei when it's a larger city.
Especially in Taipei. You know, my parents also try to find like a nice neighborhood so that the school's nicer. That they want us to be in like the nicer school.
Right.
Which it's normal for parents want that. So yeah. So I'm surrounded by a lot of rich kids growing up, but I'm not one. But you know.
I've got the planes fly over.
I know, we just have to.
Yeah. Did you see your parents a lot, or did they work a lot?
So my dad, it's like a culture thing. When he like was younger, it's like a Taiwanese culture that, you know, men get to go out after, it's like a social after work. They still go out social a lot. So my dad go out a lot. So it's almost like similar to the Japanese. I think, you know, Taiwan was ruled by Japan for a long time. That culture kind of stays. So it's like men after work go out with friends. It's like a normal thing. So my mom pretty much had to take care of all of us. Oh my god! And at the time, also my dad's parents lived with us. So my mom take care of my dad's parent and the two kids. So I have to say, you know, he was a great dad, and now he's awesome. But when he was young, I don't think that's the best for my mom. Right. For sure. But it's part of the culture, and he's a lot more like considerate right now. Now he's older. He's like, okay.
Do they still live in Taipei?
Yeah, they're still in Taipei.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any extended family that you visited a lot or grew up with?
No, we have actually a very small family. My dad's sibling, two of them moved to the United States when they were like the same thing. They after college they moved to the United States, so their families are already in the state.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that side of the cousins always grew up here, so I know them a little bit, but then we become closer after I moved to US. And then my mom only had one sister, so her sisters also moved to United States when they were, when my cousins were in like junior high school.
Okay.
But that group, they were really close with us when they were kids, so we stayed close. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you see them a lot when you're here?
Not a lot.
Are
The
they,
United States is a
spread
little
out?
big,
Yeah.
but yes, we try to at least see each other when we can.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is the earliest memory you have of your childhood?
Oh my god. I remember when we were living in our first place I remember we lived in. It's not in the Taipei city, but it's part of the new Taipei city. So it's like a outside. At the time, it wasn't a city yet, but it's like outside of Taipei before we moved into the Taipei city.
Okay.
And I remember for some reason there was this. I was like probably 2 or 3. There was this baby somehow get locked in our house.
A baby in your house?
Yes.
Oh.
I have no memory of why, but I asked my mom, and that was actually happened. I think some grandma was playing with her in our house, and she went out, and the door gets shut. The baby get left in the house by herself, and we're living in the 3rd floor, and everybody's freaking out what to do, try to get into my house. And this elementary school kid, he's probably, I don't know how old, he's probably like 10, 11, I don't know. He climbed over our balcony inside the house to open the door.
Wow.
That made a memory for me when I was so young, because it was such a crazy
Yeah,
event.
that sounds like a very, yeah.
Yes. I know.
It's a good thing, but also.
I know it's crazy, but but like growing up in Taiwan, a lot of things are back in the time. It's kind of like in the 80s here.
Mm-hmm.
You would see people riding on truck without seatbelt, sitting in the back. Things are not as people are not as cautious, and so in Taiwan growing up, it's very common to see like a whole family, 4 people fit on a little tiny moped without a helmet. That's
I would like to see that.
Oh my god, that's like a normal thing you see. Like they would have a parent, and then in between the parent and in front of the parent you have a little kid sitting on the tiniest moped.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Is
know.
it a city? Yeah. Was it more like bikes and mopeds and cars, or is it more?
It's too many moped in my opinion. But when we were growing up, that's almost the easiest way to get around. So because car you get traffic jam in the city, and like moped just like go, which is really unsafe, but
Yeah.
that's like how people go around. Now it's a lot more, the public transportation in Taipei is pretty good. You still see too many moped. But then if you go down to the south, and then it's like even like like people don't really strict follow the rule, and
Oh, yeah.
so it's like a little
Oh my
chaotic.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. What did you do for fun?
As a kid or as a
Yeah, just like maybe as a kid or growing up.
As a kid, my mom don't let me go out a lot because we're in the city, and she's always worried about kidnapping and stuff. But
Oh.
so I know she's a bit paranoid about it, but I can understand why. But so I don't like go out, and there's not really, as a kid, there's not a whole lot of place to go. I'm not into video game or those, so I draw a lot. Like that's almost, I draw and read. That's like my thing. And I wasn't really into sport, or at least I never tried, so I don't know if I like it. So I do that a lot. And by the time we're in high school, and in college, then we go karaoke a lot, or bowling or stuff, kind of like a city stuff. But I really love the outdoor when I moved here. That's like the biggest change, is I just love the outdoor, and I can't go back to city life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you get that. It's perfect here.
I know. Like I wish I had this growing up, but
What did you aspire to be? So with your like drawing and reading, did you want to be a teacher, or like what was your dream job growing up?
That is very interesting, and the dream job back in the time and now is very different. And I think that's one thing. I'm working in education now, and that's one thing I really think is important is really get kids to figure out what they want to do. That's something I don't think we ever done when I was growing up. Is what do you really want to do? I love art. So growing up in our classroom, always have something called, you had to decorate the classroom. Each classroom had to decorate their own classroom, and then they have a competition that goes through all the way to high school. So our junior high school and high school is very different from here. You don't run to a different classroom. We have a classroom and the teacher come to us. So we have a classroom all the way to high school.
The same classroom?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have a classroom, we have an advisor teacher but then different subject teacher would come to us. Instead of we had to do this, like the kids here have to go to different classroom for different teacher. So this all the way to high school, we have classroom decoration competition every school, and I did that every year. That's like my thing. Even when I was in junior high school, nobody wanted to do it because everybody wanted to study for their class, for their exam, because it's super competitive there. Everybody want to do that, and I pick it out every year. And by like third year of college, high school, I'm the only one. Me and like 2-3 other friends would do it. High school, we have like a little team that we all love art, so we all do it. But then junior high school, I can't get anyone to do it, so I'm like always doing it, because that's like, it's almost like an outlet that I can do that instead of just have to do boring like homework.
Yeah.
But I never considered that
as a career.
As a career for some reason. I always feel like I want to do engineering.
Oh wow.
But I don't know why that is. I think that just imprinted in me because I'm good at math, I'm good at science.
Okay.
That seemed to be just, and then, in Taiwan growing up, it's, if you're good at that, they were like, why do you want to do engineering if you're a girl? Duh. But then, so a lot of people try to convince you that medical school is better, and I don't want to do that because I can't touch their body, and no, that freaks me out. So I have to purposely not study biology so that I don't end up in medical school. But I think nowadays I found biology one of the most fascinating topics. So I'm like, okay, we really need to kind of get kids to be more excited about things, not just force on them, So looking back, I feel like I didn't really know what I want to do. I want to do engineering because I'm good at science and math, but do I know what engineering means? No, and I'm not regretting doing engineering as my major. But if I can choose again, it's less about the skill I learned, but more about the fields I want to be in. Because I'm super passionate in education and super passionate in environment. So if I do engineering, I can apply that in engineering, in environment. I can apply that in education, right? So it's not really exclude me from doing that. So I feel like we need to, instead of like, no, you have to do engineering, it's more like, what are you passionate and how do you use the skill that you're good at to that field? I think that's super important. Okay. And that for me, that really is, part of what I want to do in education. I want to see that is, we don't need to say, hey, you had to be an engineer in order to do this. No, if you love this, how can you apply your skill in this?
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
Yeah. So I think a lot come to that, but I don't think I know when I was growing up what I want to do. I just know what I don't want to do. My parents make me learn piano, and we were in this competitive piano class, and I just ended up hating it because my teacher was so like strict and mean. And so that kind of backfired, right?
Right.
By putting you in those, thinking, oh, you can be a piano, and a lot of decisions my parents made at the time, because they grow in hardship, so they want to see you have a decent life. And that's not just them, it's in general that generation. They want you to have a decent life, so they think there's certain paths that they can give you. So it's not like they want me to be a great musician. No, they think teaching piano will be a good job. So they want me to learn piano. And it's that drive. It's not like does she love music? Is music going to? And for me right now with my kid is I just think when you have music in your life would be a better quality. But it's up to you. If you want to be a good musician, then it's up to you to actually practice. But I want you in general have a music education so that you can have that in your life. But we don't grow up in the time that you're struggling with money, so it's a very different mindset, right?
Yeah, I was forced to do piano as well. I did not stick with it. But I kind of wish I had now.
Exactly. That's a lot of people say. But then how do you make them stick with it, right?
Just like as a kid, it's hard just to pick something and then stay with it and practice.
Yeah, and because everything, once you get to a certain point, you want to get good at it, then you do need to put in effort.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to find a good teacher too.
Yeah.
So, that was. Let's see. Oh, what language did you speak at home?
I speak Mandarin and Taiwanese.
Okay.
But my Taiwanese is quite poor just because I grew up in Taipei. For some reason, my brother speaks super good Taiwanese. And it's a dialect, but the problem, when I was growing up in Taiwan, they don't teach in school and they kind of discourage it.
Oh, okay.
They also...
You discourage Taiwanese?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, okay.
So Taiwan, when I was growing up, political situation is very different.
Right.
And by the time I was in junior high school, it started to change.
Okay.
But it's kind of like, I don't know how much you know about Taiwan's history.
A little bit, yeah. I know that.
So when I was growing up, the Taiwanese dialect is almost being looked down at.
Oh, okay.
On TV, they on purposely make that like a second-class citizen, like they're always lower educated, like that speak Taiwanese, and it's like it's kind of like the image that they try to show you. So in school, because it's not, when my parents were growing up, it's forbidden to speak in school. By the time I was growing up, it's not, but it's still like, because you don't teach it. And in Taipei, you just naturally speak a lot more Mandarin than Taiwanese.
Okay.
And now Taiwan tried to change that. They have more identity on themselves now about they're Taiwanese and not Chinese. So they want to be able to bring that back up. But it's so hard after a generation of not speaking it.
Yeah.
Right. It's just so hard. The funniest thing is this, because my brother was so, like, he wanted his kids to be able to speak Taiwanese. He taught them Taiwanese only. But then they mix with other Taiwanese families, so they learn Mandarin.
Oh, yeah.
But when they went to Taiwan, their parent would, my sister-in-law would bring them to Taiwan more, and she had a sister that's a teacher, so she would put them in the school, and they had Taiwanese class, and the teacher would say, okay, who knows how to say lightning? And my niece was the only kid that can do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's like, wait, I'm like, that's the American that actually know how to speak Taiwanese better than all the Taiwanese kids.
Wow.
So that was just really
Yeah,
crazy, right?
That's very crazy.
That's crazy.
It's
So,
good for her, though.
but
That's
that's the thing is, like, you go through a whole generation, like 30 years of suppressing the language, and now you try to bring it back. It's so hard. Yeah, like my generation, half of them barely speak. We can converse, but it's not great. It's not fluent,
Wow.
So yeah, that's a suppression of culture, pretty much.
Did your parents grow up in Taiwan as well?
Yeah, so they speak Taiwanese with their parents, with each other, but somehow with me, and I can see that how difficult that is now with me trying to teach my kids Chinese, like because my husband don't speak, so I can talk to them, and but up to when they were 3 years old, I try to speak to them in Chinese or Mandarin, since that's a language I'm better at, and they never respond. Since they can speak, they hardly ever respond back to me in English. So I'm constantly in this switching language mode. I don't know if you speak different language. So you can, it's like I will speak to them in Chinese, and they will respond in English, and I keep doing that, and then
So
at
they
some
can understand it, but they can't
Yeah.
speak it.
They
Oh.
don't, just they don't.
Oh.
And then somehow after a couple minutes, and I'm unawarely, I've been speaking English, because you're like switching back and forth, and then you eventually become English, and you do that, and then eventually it's just really hard to keep that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like, but I haven't given up completely. They still have some words, they still have some, but not conversational, but they understand something.
If you go back to Taipei with your family, do you think that they would be able to speak?
No, but they learned a ton when I went back, put them in school for like 2 weeks, and learned a ton.
That's good.
And they agreed. We'll see if it changed, because they agreed to. I think some of our city college have Mandarin class, so they agreed to take that for their second language. I mean, if they want to do Spanish, it's a little easier for them to learn if they want to. But I think they agree they would do they would try the Mandarin to see if they can get it, because now they're old enough, they actually want to be able to speak, right?
Yeah. Right.
So
that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, I have some friends that try to teach me Mandarin, but it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
I think I threw a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a long day at school, and then you come home and you're tired. What's your favorite thing to eat, or like? What was your favorite food growing up?
See, you can't ask a Taiwanese what's your favorite food, because there's not one favorite food you can describe, right?
Taiwanese food. That was my favorite
exactly.
food. Okay.
Everything's so good. So I love all the fruits in Taiwan. It's amazing. Like we get mango, lychee, during summertime, and then you get we get I don't even know what some of the fruits called here, because you don't have them here.
Right.
So they're great. And fruit is my thing. I love fruit. But then snack-wise, there's tons of great snack, and we have those street vendors, and they all very smartly put it outside of school. So when you walk home from school, you smell it and you try to buy it. And a lot of things are probably never heard of here. They have those black rice cake. It's like a pig blood or duck blood.
Oh, no, I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, they mix with rice, sticky rice, and they make it into a stick, and then they have sauce on it. People were freaked out here, but they're really good. And in Taiwan, they also evolved. Nowadays, they have other things that we didn't have at the time. But yeah, we have I don't know, sesame ball. Actually, that's one thing my husband loved. The first time he went to Taiwan, there's this sesame ball vendor right outside our house, my parents' house. And it's huge sesame ball, and he would have one every day. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds
But
great.
they can disappear. They're not there anymore. But yeah, I don't remember one single thing I love the most, because there's so many food.
What about something that your mother made?
My mom.
Is there one dish that you
I
look
can
forward
do
to?
that. And my mom's a great cook, and I love everything she makes. But I miss the most is the fish,
Fish.
the seafood, because here fish are all big fish with fillet, but there we have whole fish, small whole fish, and they're just delicious. That you don't get here. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I should find a Taiwanese restaurant.
Oh, but so boba tea, right?
Yeah, boba.
So that's the thing becomes super popular when we were in high school. It
Ooh.
started to get super popular in Taiwan, and now it's worldwide. But it started when we were in high school, and that's one thing that me and my friends would go get every day, which is not the healthiest thing. I would never let my kids have it every day.
It was a cool thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You tried all the different flavors.
No, at the time, I think the new flavor is a new thing. At the time,
okay.
it was milk tea.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't realize, because I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, okay.
And I was having stomach problem for ever. But then that means I had to give up boba tea. Like,
You just have to give up the milk part.
I know, but then it's not as good.
Yeah.
So, but nah, it's not the healthiest thing though.
What else did you and your friends do? For fun?
Or
just for fun?
so at different ages, different things. So high school, so junior high school and high school, we all have the pressure to get into like good high school and good college. At the time when I was growing up, it's based on exam. So the third year of junior high school was really stressful because everybody just wanted to study, nobody wanted to do anything fun. The same as last year in high school. It's everybody have this stress to go into good college, so everybody study really hard, so you hardly have any time. But before that was, I think, we go hang out. High school. A group of my friends would go to like places that we can sit for a long time and play cards.
Oh, fun.
Play bridge, and that's like a thing to do at the time. It's kind of weird. But college is more fun because you're a little older, you have more freedom. So actually, other than when we're in the city, we go to karaoke, which is super popular at the time. Actually, in Taiwan, it's KTV. It's not
KTV.
Yeah, it's actually not karaoke. It's not like you sing in public. It's more like you just hang out with your group of friends.
Okay.
But then.
Are there places that you go to do karaoke? Okay.
Yeah, and then you do. We do a lot of bowling. I learned to play pool at the time, but it's very city stuff. But then we do have a group of friends. We like to go around the island to do outdoor, a little more outdoor thing, and I really love that. We that's like probably the time that I get to really explore Taiwan when I was in college, is to go to different places with friends and just like we go to offshore island, we go to like mountains, we go
That sounds really nice.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yep.
Is it like very like what was it like environment wise?
So I don't know if you've been to Taiwan. I think Taipei is probably one of the cleanest city ever. Well, actually, no, I can't say that because Japan is way cleaner. But Taipei is pretty clean relatively. But countryside you can still see littering and stuff. And it's an island, so you also have like trash get washed up offshore. But I think my generation, they spent a tons of effort educating kids to not litter, not recycling.
That's good.
It's still not great, but I think it's not bad. So you do it. I think it's like everywhere, and because it's so highly populated, it's still you can't avoid like pollution and litter and stuff. But I think it's fun. Where the places I've been to is pretty good, and I think right now the government also have quite a bit of a. They do spend effort trying to maintain the environment. I'll give you an example. This past last year, not last year, it's actually 2021 when I took my kids back. We went to an aquarium that's run by the government, the local government, the county, and we in the aquarium they have all this display about how plastic is polluting the ocean, and then we went to the cafeteria and then they're serving single-use plastic. So I was just like, I had to say something, and so I filed a complaint in their local government, say, hey, you can do that. And 2 days later, they call me, say, hey, we have a regulation say they cannot use that. So which restaurant did you go? And I was like, whoa, that was 2 days they follow up.
Yeah.
I filed tons of complaints here, nobody would follow up with me. But, I was like, that was impressive.
That one. I
know. So they were like, okay, we're just going to use this complaint as a chance to audit the whole aquarium. I was like, whoa. It's like, well, they will get a warning. They won't get fined, but if they do it again, then we're going to fine them. And then, like, a couple of weeks later, they emailed me about the audits being done. But I was like, wow, that is so efficient.
That's so fast.
That was so fast. That was so fast.
Wow.
I'm like,
no single-use plastic.
like, well, just that county had a regulation and they shouldn't use it, and then like, we're gonna go.
That's good.
So there's some determination on fixing those problems. it's also a very populated, small populated island, so they're really sensitive about their environment.
Yeah.
Right? It's everything can just throw it off balance. So they are, I think, a little bit more on top of it than we are here.
Okay. Santa Barbara's
Still
pretty
not
good, but
Yeah, well, I worked on this a lot. Like, it's just not fast enough. Like, Goleta's still surfing styrofoam. Why?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That part just fine.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah. Would you like to move somewhere where you're not in the sun?
no, I'm actually okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sort of values did your parents instill in you growing up? Maybe from like an early age?
I think the one thing, I talk about, we didn't grow up very rich, and I actually watch a lot of my friends that seem to have like tons of material. I think I grew up not being really focused on material stuff. And I think that's great because it's never really an important thing for me. I like the fact that now I'm not worried, struggling with my life, but I don't feel like I need a ton to make me happy. I think that.
That's really nice.
And the other part is like family. Family's important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I see. What kind of conversations? Well, I know you maybe. I don't know if you had dinner time. Like, what was your like? Did you have dinner with your whole entire family or?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what conversation. I don't know. that was so long ago.
Like, would you talk about your day, or would you just talk about random things?
Probably, like probably complain about who in school is not nice to me or something. I don't know.
Do you think you would have spent more time with your mom because she was always there, or with your brother or your father?
I think my mom was so busy that I don't remember she ever had fun. And I think she didn't know how to have fun anymore. Even retired, she always finds things to worry about instead of like relax and just kind of enjoy life a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think one thing that make a little hard is I think my mom always took care of us, but she never had fun with us. And it's not her fault at all. It's just circumstance doesn't, it kind of, the whole environment that she is in is making that, yeah. But for me, that one thing I really try to do is, between cleaning the house or hanging out with my kids, I want to make sure that I spend time with my kids. The house can be slightly messy sometimes. It's okay, but I want to make sure. But now they're teenagers, so they want to have their own friends. So.
Grown up.
But yeah. But well, one's still not like teenager.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's one thing I realized that I don't think my mom ever had fun or do anything fun with us. Ever. So I want to make sure that that's not the case for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you said that your father's parents lived at home?
When I was growing up, but they passed away when I was like 4th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, right around that time. Yeah.
Do you have any good memories with them?
I was really young, but because my grandmom has Alzheimer early young, so she was, and then Parkinson both.
Oh my God.
So she was, and then she had a stroke, so she was bedbound for a couple of years. So it's almost like, when I have memory, I don't remember a whole lot that was her. But yeah. Yeah.
If you could tell yourself, maybe, I don't know why it's just 10 years old. It's just, if you could tell your 10-year-old self something, one thing, what would it be? Your childhood self.
I think partially what I want to bring for the kids in school here now would be something I want to tell myself.
Bring the food here?
No, not the food. Well,
Sorry.
the food would be nice, right? The food would be nice. No, like right now I'm in education. What I really want is to make sure kids are inspired, and they don't need to choose. They're really young, and the thing is, you always have choice, even you're a grown up. Like I choose I was an engineer and I completely switched my gear, which is fine. So, people change and you have different idea and things. But I think it's just really look for what you like and have passion on things.
Okay.
It's very important. I don't know you tell a kid that they'll get it, at that age. But then it's up to adult to really bring that environment to them, right? Make them feel like you're inspired with this, right? And it's good for the kid to be inspired with a lot of things. Then they feel like, oh, I don't care about any of them.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Okay, cool. What kind of feelings or words come to mind when you think about your childhood?
Oh, I have no idea if I can describe it in a single word. Well, no matter what, my childhood made who I am today. So there's no regret, and I grew up happy. I have a good, happy family that really care about each other. So that's, it's great.
That's really